Good morning. We're going to do another video this morning. We are going to show allocative efficiency, and we are going to do that through the idea of producer and consumer surplus. So let's take a look at that. So in our model to the left and our model to the right, we're going to look at these as two equivalent marketplaces. And we're going to say that this is a method you can use to show or prove something in economics. And what we're going to do today is we're going to show first what is not allocatively efficient, then we will show what is allocatively efficient. Okay? So in this particular marketplace, we're going to say that we're looking at a market for, I don't know, whatever you'd like. We're going to, let's just go with goats. There we go. So currently, these are both markets for goats. And we can see that they are working exactly the same in both places. All right. And the reason they are currently working exactly the same is that there is no interference in the marketplace. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's introduce into one of these markets an interruption, something that isn't going to allow prices to do the job that prices are supposed to do. And we're very bright people. We know that the job of pricing in a marketplace is to allocate resources to society's most desired uses. Pricing does a wonderful job of that if pricing is left alone to do that job. All right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce a control into this marketplace. And the control we're going to introduce is called a quota. And in our case, this quota says we can have, or we can sell, buy and sell, the marketplace for goats is blocked right there at that quota. We can no longer buy or sell any goats beyond that amount. All right? And if we are going to demonstrate the world of allocative efficiency or inefficiency in a marketplace, the first thing we want to do is we want to identify the difference between these two marketplaces. One with the obstruction to prices doing their job, and one without the obstruction to prices doing their job. And we want to see the comparison, all right? Because allocative efficiency is going to happen when the market is allowed to do exactly what it wants to do. We want the market to be happy. And so what we're going to show here is on our graph on the right, where the market is allowed to do what it wants to do, we are going to show all of the people who would participate in the market if the market price prevails. So all we want to show is people who are willing and able to participate in the market at the market price. So right there, we can see the highlighted portion of the demand curve because those people were willing and able to pay above or at market price. And of course, we know for every demander that's in the marketplace that becomes a market participant, we're going to have a supplier with whom they match up. So if we look at the market participants in our unobstructed market, we see this area right here, okay? Here are my demanders that are going to participate. Here are my suppliers that are going to participate. This group over here, not willing and able to sell at this market price. This group over here, not willing and able to demand or buy at that market price, okay? Now, we're going to do the same thing in the market that is obstructed. And what we are going to see is that in this particular case, let's identify those who are willing and able to participate in the marketplace. And stop. Here's the problem we're going to run into. This is the group of people that actually get to participate in the market because those are the most willing and able to participate relative to this quota, relative to this hard stop that the government has put in place in the market. Just like over here, every market participant as a demander is going to match up with a market participant as a supplier. But now we see our challenge here, right? And our challenge we're going to run into is the fact that relative to this market price, there are a whole bunch of people that would love to participate in this market but are not allowed to because of the quota. That group of people right there, they would love to be in this marketplace, but they cannot participate because of the quota. And for every demander that's kicked out of the marketplace, a supplier is kicked out of the marketplace too. And what we find is that our market participation changes pretty dramatically, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to identify the consumer and producer surplus that exists in each place. So let's define consumer and producer surplus. All right, I'm going to highlight our price here because consumer surplus means that a consumer was willing and able to pay a price which exceeded the price they were charged in the marketplace. I was willing and able to pay a price that exceeded that which was in the marketplace. I was willing and able to pay a price that exceeded that was charged in the marketplace. I was willing and able to pay a price that was greater than that which was charged in the marketplace. And as you can imagine, we could draw an infinite number of lines that show consumer surplus, the willingness and ability to pay more for a product than was charged by the marketplace. Now, if we get down to here at our equilibrium, what we notice is this group of consumers, or this consumer, they have no surplus because they were willing and able to pay exactly what the market price was. Producer surplus works strikingly similarly, but just from the other perspective. I was willing and able to pay a price, or I was willing and able to produce a product and sell it for less than the market gave me. I was willing and able to produce a product for less than the market gave me, and of course, that continues all the way through, and we see our producer surplus, which means there were a series of producers that were willing and able to produce a product for less than the market price, but the market gave them that price anyway, okay? These producers up here, they're non-market participants because they were not willing and able to produce this product for the price that the market set, okay? And what we notice over here is we have gotten every single possible market participant into the marketplace, and what that has done is it allowed us to maximize the combination of producer and consumer surplus. So here is our producer surplus down here. Here's our consumer surplus up here. And so if we maximize the area of producer and consumer surplus, we know that we have allocated resources efficiently because that's the happiest we can make society. Let's compare that to this model over here. Let's once again highlight the market price. There we go. And what we notice here is we do have a series of consumers that were willing and able to pay greater than market price. And we can see them. However, we run into a challenge here. And the challenge we run into is the fact that we have consumers that would love to have participated in this marketplace, but because of this quota, they are not able to participate. So what we have here is we have an area that could be surplus if the control weren't there. But it's not surplus because the control is there. As a matter of fact, what we've done is we have blocked maximizing surplus. Let's see if the same thing applies on the other side, because I think it will. We have a series of producers who are willing and able to supply a product less than the market price, but the market gave them a higher price anyway. And so we supply all of these products all the way over to here. So this amounts to our producer surplus. This amounts to our consumer surplus, just like before. But just like on the consumer side, we have a series of producers who would love to participate in this marketplace. They would love to gain this surplus that I'm highlighting right now, but they cannot. And so what we find is that this right here becomes an area of lost producer surplus. That control by a government agency creates an area of lost producer surplus. That control by the government also creates an area of lost consumer surplus. These happen because we have people who would love to participate in the marketplace, but that control stops them from participating in the marketplace, and we wind up with this area of lost surplus. Here, we are maximized. Here, we do not maximize. And we actually have a name for this area. This area right here that I'm highlighting with this Sharpie marker, that area right there is referred to as deadweight loss. And deadweight loss is the combination of lost consumer surplus and lost producer surplus that happens when you kick people out of a marketplace that they ordinarily would love to participate in. Okay? So anytime you have a loss of surplus, you know that you are inefficient. Anytime you maximize surplus, you know that you are efficient. Thank you so much.